It was supposed to be just another day on base. Marine Corporal James Keller, a respected and well-liked serviceman, had gone through countless drills, deployments, and desert assignments. But one quiet morning, without warning or explanation, he vanished. No signs of struggle, no notes left behind, just his bunk left perfectly made and his gear untouched. His fellow Marines were shocked, commanders confused, and his family left with endless questions. The official reports labeled it as unauthorized absence, but those who knew James swore something deeper was going on. He wasn't the type to just disappear. Over the years, rumors spread like wildfire. Some said he had gone AWOL. Others whispered about secret missions, and a few believed something more sinister happened behind those military gates. Still, no answers ever came until nearly 8 years later. A renovation project at the very same base where James had last been seen suddenly brought everything back to light. What started as routine construction quickly turned into something no one could have imagined, buried beneath layers of concrete and time. A discovery was made that would leave the military shaken, and a family both relieved and horrified. The very place that once held so many memories now held a terrifying truth. As investigators reopened the long-cold case, questions resurfaced. What really happened to Corporal Keller? Who knew more than they admitted? And how did the truth stay hidden for nearly a decade? What they found next changed everything. Corporal James Keller wasn't just another name on a list. He was the kind of Marine who earned quiet respect. Always the first to volunteer, always the one staying behind to help clean up. Fellow service members described him as loyal, focused, and calm under pressure. Originally from a small town in Ohio, James had joined the Marines right out of high school. He wrote to his mother every week, never missed a birthday call to his little sister, and had even been planning to propose to his girlfriend during his next leave. Nothing about his life suggested he would run away. The day he disappeared, there were no alerts or alarms. His ID was still in his locker. His phone, his wallet, everything remained untouched. His bunkmate, Corporal Daniels, remembered hearing James talking quietly on the phone the night before, pacing near the edge of the barracks. But who he was speaking to was never confirmed. The base was searched top to bottom. Drones were flown. Interviews were done. Still, not a single clue surfaced. As the years went on, the case slowly faded into silence. The official stance never changed. Missing, whereabouts, unknown. But those who knew him never accepted it. His mother kept a porch light on every night, just in case. Then, during a scheduled renovation of one of the old storage wings, one that had been sealed off for years, contractors made a discovery that brought everything back. Something had been hidden in plain sight all along, right under the heart of the base. The room had been sealed since a fire inspection. Years ago, deemed it unsafe, just another forgotten corner of the base. But when the crew knocked down the old drywall, they didn't expect to find a hidden storage compartment behind it. Inside were personal belongings that hadn't seen daylight in years. A rusted set of dog tags, a faded Marine Corps jacket with James Keller's name stitched on it, and a worn notebook, half burnt at the edges. The air turned heavy. Something about the space felt off, like it had been closed off in a hurry, like someone didn't want it to be found. As word spread, the base was placed under tight review. Military police took over the site, and Keller's case, cold for 8 years, was suddenly back in full force. The strange part, his dog tags had already been returned to his family years ago. So why were they here now? Were they duplicates? Or had someone deliberately planted them? Theories quickly grew inside the walls of the base. Some whispered that James had uncovered something he wasn't supposed to. Others believed he may have been part of a deeper operation that went sideways. Meanwhile, Corporal Daniels, now retired, began receiving strange, anonymous letters typed "no return address." Each one hinted at secrets buried beneath layers of silence. One letter ended with only 2 words, "You're next." Investigators tried to trace the origin, but every lead went cold. The deeper they looked, the more they realized this wasn't just about one missing Marine. It might be bigger than anyone imagined. The discovery of the hidden room sent shockwaves through the chain of command. Quiet meetings started happening behind closed doors, and not everyone on base was happy that the case was reopened. The notebook, found with James's belongings, had fragments of entry-strange names, numbers, and one phrase that appeared over and over: Echo Room. No one could confirm what it meant. Wasn't listed on any map of the base. Some of the older veterans said they'd heard the term years ago, used by certain officers, but it was always in hushed tones. Then, one night, a junior Marine assigned to guard the renovated wing went missing during his shift. His radio was found on the floor, still active, crackling with static. His last recorded message was barely audible. They know. It wasn't an accident. The incident was quickly labeled a training mishap, but those who were paying attention knew better. Tension spread through the base like wildfire. People stopped talking. Patrol routes were changed. A few soldiers even requested transfer orders, citing mental stress. But a small group of James's old friends, quietly communicating through private channels, decided to find the truth themselves. One of them, now stationed stateside, flew back without clearance. He brought with him something Keller had mailed him weeks before disappearing: a flash drive containing encrypted files and blurry images of what looked like an underground facility, and buried deep in those files was a single, grainy photo. It showed James standing in front of a steel door. The words etched into it read, "Echo Room." The image of James Keller in front of the steel door sent chills down their spines. The Echo Room wasn't just a rumor, was real. But when they tried to bring the photo to base officials, they were met with silence and warnings to stop digging. One officer even hinted off the record that the Echo Room was never supposed to be found again. That same night, the encrypted flash drive disappeared from the private locker it was kept in. No signs of forced entry. Just gone. As they continued to investigate quietly, they uncovered a series of transfer records names of Marines who had been reassigned after brief, unexplained stints in a classified facility on base. Most of them had since left the service, and several were reported missing within months of discharge. The files were all buried under layers of outdated clearance codes, and whoever was covering it up had gone to extreme lengths to keep it buried. Then came the twist no one expected. One of Keller's old friends, while reviewing security footage from an old training exercise, spotted something shocking. In the background, just for a second, was James. Not a memory, not a photo, but a live shot of someone who looked exactly like him, wearing civilian clothes, walking just beyond the restricted boundary of the base. The footage was dated only 6 months ago. If that really was James, why hadn't he come home? And more. Importantly, what had they done to him inside the Echo Room? The moment the footage was confirmed, everything shifted. The small team tracking James moved quickly, cross-referencing satellite data and restricted entry logs. Within days, they located a decommissioned bunker deep in the hills behind the base, never listed, never spoken of. Under the cover of night, with help from a sympathetic former intelligence officer, they reached the entrance. The steel door from the photo stood before them, aged but still intact. Etched into the rusted metal were the same haunting words, "Echo Room." Inside, the air was stale and heavy. Long abandoned corridors led them to a room filled with files, old surveillance equipment, and a wall of photographs, images of James and others. It's all tagged with timestamps, notes, and red markings. In the corner, behind a locked gate, they found him. James Keller, alive, dazed, thinner, but unmistakably him. He hadn't escaped, he'd been held, silenced, and watched. He barely recognized his rescuers, but managed to whisper, "They didn't want me to talk." About what I saw. About what they were doing. He spoke of unauthorized experiments, psychological tests on soldiers, and falsified deaths. But just as they prepared to leave with him, a final revelation hit one of the men who'd helped. Plan the rescue pulled a gun. "I told them I'd lead you here," he said quietly, "but I never said I'd let you leave." In that moment, everything they thought they'd uncovered was just the surface. The echo room wasn't the secret. It was the beginning. Time seemed to stop as the gun was raised. But before the traitor could pull the trigger, another member of the team, quiet and cautious until that moment, acted fast. A single well-aimed tackle knocked the weapon free, and chaos erupted in the narrow hallway. In the scuffle, James slumped to the floor, too weak to move. But the others didn't leave him behind. They fought their way out, dragging him through the dust and darkness of the echo room, never once letting go by the time they reached the surface. Backup had arrived, trusted allies who had tracked the signal from the stolen flash drive, finally putting the last piece of the puzzle together. The bunker was secured, and its existence reported all the way up the chain of command. With James safe and evidence in hand, an official investigation was finally forced into motion.